This video is a long time coming. New cards were released and I gotta make a new video. This is gonna be budget Cyberdarks, but before we really jump into it, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who watches the video, likes, comments. I really do appreciate it, and it does boost me up in the algorithm, which shows me a lot of support. Regardless, enough of the ads. This is the deck. Now, it looks a little bit similar to last time. New additions to the deck are Clockwork Night, which this card is just insanely powerful in combination with the Cyber Dragons, because it allows you to use your opponent's cards and go into Chimeratech Fortress Dragon. But another new addition to the deck is Evolution End Burst. Now we have an additional way to search for Overload Fusion, which is one of the most important cards in this deck. I mean, there is another fusion card in this deck that's important. It's Power Bond. I personally do not like this card for the main fact that it's only good if you have Cyberdark Chimera. Overload Fusion, just good as long as it's in your hand. There's no buildup, there's no nothing. As long as you have the stuff in the graveyard, it's good. Besides that, you may notice that, yeah, this is extremely budget. It's using 3 copies of the Cyberdark structure deck, along with Ash Blossom, which comes from a bundle, and Infinite Impermanence. Main reason for these 2 cards is they're extremely powerful hand traps. We're not running Raigeki or Monster Reborn or Lightning Storm in this build for the main fact that the deck is really tight. Like, when I say that, I mean like you want to be able to summon your big boss as soon as you can, and we need to remove a little bit of the fluff. Raigeki is a good card and Monster Reborn is a good card, but they're not always live. I'd rather have a card that is always doing something and that gets us where we need to go, rather than a card that may help. That's why a lot of deck lists that you may see online don't run those extremely powerful cards, because they kind of slow down the deck. They are good as options, but this deck isn't as powerful as some of the best decks in the entire game, for example like Kashtira, so we need to run more support cards for it. Anyways, I have a couple replays. I'll go over card for card, but the cards will also be in the description down below. 1 Herz, you send it to the graveyard from the deck, and then you get to add a Cyber Dragon from your graveyard or your deck to your hand. 3 Core, it's one of the main normal summons of the deck. Ash Blossom, negate. Cannon, when it's in your hand, discard it, add a machine monster Cyberdark. Pretty important actually. Also, when it's equipped to a Cyberdark, you can like send a monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's just any monster, so it's a Foolish Burial. Very powerful. You could run some other cards that when they're sent to the graveyard, they do effects. Not really, but I'm trying to keep this deck as cheap as possible, so we're just running like the pure build. We have Cyberdark Claw. Cyberdark Claw. This is, you can add a Cyberdark spell or trap from your deck to your hand. The spells and traps, mainly the spells, are really powerful, so this is a good card as well. We have 1 of each of the Cyberdark that you can normal summon, 1 Edge, 1 Horn, and 1 Keel. I like Edge more than the other ones for the main fact that it can attack directly, and since it can attack directly, that means you can trigger your Cannon and your Claw, where you can send from the extra deck or send from the deck. But we're only running 1 because the deck is really tight. We're running 3 copies of Cyberdark Chimera. I don't like this card, but it is necessary in this deck. There are certain hands where if you get Cyberdark Chimera, you can go into your big boss fusion, Cyber End Dragon, turn 1. But I don't really like the card, but you still need to run it. Regardless, 1 Cyber Dragon, just for the main fact that we do need a Cyber Dragon for Herz to be able to search out, or for Core to special summon from the deck if we don't want to special summon a Core. So Cyber Dragon is just there. Also, it's not bad in tandem with the Clockwork Night, because then we can just special summon Cyber Dragon. It's not activating any effects, so your opponent can't respond to the summon, and you can just use their monsters and fusion summon, so it's pretty cool. 1 Power Bond, main reason this is in here because it's searchable through Cyberdark Chimera. It allows you to fusion summon, and then you take damage equal to that monster you fusion summon. But if you have Chimera, Cyberdark Chimera, you can fusion summon using your graveyard. Pretty cool stuff. Overload Fusion, it's just, you just fusion summon using your graveyard or your field. I like this one a lot. That's why we run a card called Evolution End Burst, which just searches Overload Fusion. That's all it does. I will say with this card though, very important. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except with spells. So you're not doing a lot of special summoning in this deck. I'm going to be honest. You're just normal summoning a lot. Still, Evolution End Burst, you usually want to use this at the end of your combos, not at the beginning, because if you do special summon and if you do go into, I don't know, Cross Sheep or any Link 2, there are better ones. you're not going to be able to, because this card just lets you not be able to special summon monsters. So keep that in mind. We have 3 Cyber Emergency. This card just searches a Cyber Dragon from your deck. Mainly it's going to search out Core. Core is really important because it like searches out almost everything in a deck. It's the most important normal summon. 3 Cybernetic Horizon. This card also searches your deck for Core or even Cyberdarks. It also mills 2 cards. It mills 1 card from your deck, and it mills 1 card from your extra deck. The extra deck is really important because then you get like fuel for Overload Fusion. The 2 cards that you want in your graveyard for Overload Fusion to be live is Cyber End Dragon and Cyberdark Dragon. Those are the only 2 you want in your graveyard. That way you can just use Overload Fusion and you can just fusion summon Cyberdark End Dragon really easy. Next up, we have 1 copy of Cyberdark Inferno. This is a field spell. You can only have 1 field spell on the field at once. It is decent, but it's not like crazy. That's why we're not running like multiple copies. It's good to have there as an option, and it's a decent option. It protects your Cyberdark effect monsters from being targeted or destroyed by card effects. Also, you can just target one of them and then return it back to the hand, normal summon it. That effect isn't the best, but it does come up when your Cyberdarks don't have anything equipped to them. You can just bounce it to your hand, summon it again, it gets a new equip. We have 3 Cyberdark Realm. This is probably the most important spell in the entire deck. It allows you to normal summon again a Cyberdark monster, and it searches you a Cyberdark monster from your deck, as long as it's the name of the monster you search from your deck is not the same name in your graveyard. A little bit tricky. You can't just be using Chimera and sending all your Cyberdarks to the graveyard. You have to kind of be smart with the names a little bit. Next up, Clockwork Night. This is the reason I'm making the video. This card is heavenly machine support. It is A+ tier. It is a very good card. I'm surprised it's a rare. I thought it was going to be a super ultra. I mean, thank you, Konami, for making it cheap. Good card. Infinite Imperm. It's a hand trap. It's also just a negate when it's on the field. And 1 Cyberdark Invasion. This card acts as a pop. You can actually play during your opponent's turn. So if you have a Cyberdark with an equipped spell equipped on the field, and you have this card set, during your opponent's turn, you can destroy the equipped spell, which isn't bad. You get to A, draw a card, or B, add a Cyberdark monster from your graveyard to your hand. It's good interaction. I really like it. I want this card at 2 in the deck, but I just can't fit it. I really do like this card though. The extra deck's super simple because it's just a budget version. 3 Cyberdark Dragon, you just want it in your graveyard. It's just fuel for the big boss End Dragon. Chimeratech Fortress Dragon is in here just in case you do have Clockwork Night on the field, which makes all monsters machines, and you have a Cyber Dragon on the field. You can just use your opponent's monsters for material. It's a powerful combo. Cyber End Dragon, you want it in your graveyard. There is a way to summon it on the field if you are running Cybernetic Revolution, which you can just tribute a Cyber Dragon, special summon a fusion from your extra deck. We're not running that card. We used to in older builds, but the deck is just really tight, so we had to take that card out just to make room. But yeah, this card, it's pretty cool. It's usually just gonna be in your graveyard. 2 Cyberdarkness Dragon. There's a combo where you have this guy in the field and he's equipped with a Cyber End Dragon, and you contribute it for Cyberdark End Dragon, which is the boss of the deck. We only need 2 copies. Technically, we only need 1, but I mean, just put 2 in, because why not? Sometimes people are running Kashtira, they might banish something from your extra deck. It's good to have another copy. And we have the big boss. This is unaffected by opponent's activated effects. What that means is, if your opponent activates anything, or they have an effect that says destroy a monster your opponent controls, this card's unaffected. It's 5,000 attack, and it can attack a number of times equal to whatever is equipped to it. Also, every single one of your turns, equip something from either graveyard to it. It is power. It is a very powerful card. It's annoying to get rid of, and usually when it hits the field, the game's over. You just take complete control. And the final card in the extra deck is Cross Sheep. The main reason Cross Sheep is in here, because there is a way on turn 1 to summon out Cyberdark End Dragon by summoning out Cyberdarkness Dragon, and the only way to get like 5 materials in your graveyard is to make a link and send a monster that you normal summon, a Cyberdark that you normal summon, to the graveyard. I've never done the combo, but there are plenty of YouTube videos and people have done it, and it may come up, but I mean, it's just there as an option. Otherwise, I would be running Cyberdark Sieger, or whatever this card is. It's just better. It's just a better monster, but Cross Sheep will do for now. It will do, Sheep. It will do. I'm gonna get into the replays. I got a really cool replay I want to show off as the first one. All right, here we go. Opening up with Cybernetic Horizon. This allows us to send a monster from our hand and our deck to the graveyard and our extra deck, and then we get to add one. I'm adding the cannon and I have a claw in my hand. Those are the two most important cards I would say that you want in your hand in terms of monsters. Claw can add you a spell. We're going to add, what is this called? Realm, which adds you another monster. And cannon can discard itself to add a monster, Cyberdark. So we're going to activate the spells effect. We're going to normal summon Cyberdark. We're going to equip it with a claw in our graveyard, activate the field spell. That's it. Not super impressive, honestly. This is a budget deck, mind you, but this is not super impressive. Regardless, it does the job. We're playing against Labyrinth. Labyrinth is not a budget deck. So we're playing against one of the best decks in all of Masterduel. How are we gonna win? Well, they set 3 back row and they do their basic combo where they summon Lady. If they activate a trap, they can search your deck for any normal trap, yada yada. We'll see what we can do. We're gonna activate another Cybernetic Horizon and they're gonna activate a trap. They're just gonna play during our turn. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna summon a monster, bounce a monster on their field to the hand, search for a trap, and then whatever monster they summon, lovely lady, usually, they get to use the effect. So we're gonna get the add, our card's gonna resolve, and after the end of this chain, then I believe there's gonna be a new chain. We're gonna do Herz effect, because when Herz is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Cyber Dragon from your graveyard or your deck to your hand. Also, he's just gonna completely play during my turn. 5 chains, bro. Like, just go ahead, man. It's your turn at this point. Just go ahead. Let me speed this up. Special, blah, blah, blah. Destroy a card in our hand. Thank God it didn't hit Overload Fusion. If it hit Overload Fusion, I would be sad. we needed that. We're going to activate Overload Fusion. We're going to banish both the fusions in our graveyard. And we're going to bring out Cyberdark End Dragon. This guy's unaffected by opponent's activated effects. That means cannot be effect negated with Infinite Imperm, cannot be banished with Dragon's Mirror, I think is a card they searched out. So yeah, we're just gonna go in for the attack. We can only attack once this turn because it only has 1 material equipped to it. Hit them for a little bit. They're gonna, let me speed it up. They're just gonna, search a trap and then they're gonna special summon a card and blah, blah, blah. They're gonna attempt to activate Dogmatica and then pop our Cyberdark, but our field spell protects it from being targeted, so they have to pop our weak Cyber Dragon, our Cyber Dragon core. Now it's their turn, and they're like, okay, well, you know what, see you later. They're gonna use Ice Dragon's Prison, and they're gonna target a dragon in our graveyard. They messed up here, because we have machines, Cyber Dragon's Prison. The way to actually make it useful is you have to target a machine in our graveyard, and then you can banish a machine on either side of the field. They're gonna search out Evenly Match, which I was like, okay. I mean, I guess I have more cards, and they're gonna do their combos. I don't really know why they search out Evenly Matched, because their deck gets a lot of advantage. Like, as you'll see, look at that, their board's full. Also, they normal summoned Ash Blossom, and I don't know what was going on here. I'm gonna be quite honest. But the main thing is, they have no way to get rid of Cyberdark End Dragon. They can't get rid of it. He's a threat. He's staying on the board. There's nothing they can do. Not a single one of the traps in their deck can do anything about it. And they're gonna try everything. They're like, I got a plan. I can do something, right? No, you can't. We're gonna do Cyber Engine. Oh no, we're gonna activate the claw in our hand. Search out Cyberdark Invasion. I love this trap. We can pop cards on the field. I love it so much. They're gonna activate their trap where they banish it. They can return a card on our field to our hand. And I mean, they can't target Cyber End Dragon. They're just gonna try to negate Horn. And this is where the field comes in handy, because they're going to be able to search your deck for another Evenly Match. I don't know why, they already have one, but sure, why not? And then the field spell kind of comes in clutch here, because even though Cyberdark Horn was already negated and we already normal summoned, this card gives us an additional normal summon, Cyberdark Realm. The field spell gives us an additional normal summon. So we have 3 normal summons, and we're just going to normal summon Horn again. And Horn's not a once per turn, so we're just going to do the effect again. If it got negated again, I don't care. I would normal summon it again. Actually, I don't think that's possible. But yeah, attack for a game. As against Labyrinth. I don't know why they summoned Ash Blossom and attack. Even if they didn't, they would have to just wall up for the rest of the game. Alright, here we go. Replay number 2, playing against Ricardo22. We're going to activate Cyber Emergency, search out our most important normal summon, Cyber Dragon Core. Cyberdark Realm is going to search us out a Claw. Claw can add us any of the Cyberdark spells. I think we're going to search out the Trap. I really like the Trap. I'm not kidding. The Trap is just mwah. It's amazing. The best card in the entire deck, I'm not going to lie, is the Boss Fusion. But if you can't make the Boss Fusion, the Trap is my second favorite card, just because it gives us interaction during our opponent's turn. We're going to use the spell. We're going to get an additional normal summon. We're going to equip it. We're going to set 2 cards, Infinite Impermanence, Monster Effect Negate, and Cyberdark. We can pop a card during our opponent's turn. And I mean, what is this guy playing? Darkworld? I'll speed it up. I'm going to activate Gates, and then they're going to activate Realm of the Danger over Gates. They'd even activate Gates effect, and they're just going to draw a bunch of cards. And they're going to banish a dark, they're going to summon a danger, and they're going to miss. They're going to hit the danger. Nessie still adds another danger. They're going to activate that effect. It's going to hit itself. They're going to get a special summon a danger from their deck in defense position, and they target it with the field spell, which essentially just says, hey, you can't target this monster for an attack. And it can attack directly, but you can still attack directly. We're going to use Invasion during the end phase. We're going to pop one of their back row. We hit a danger card, danger zone, and we're going to add back a claw, because the best thing with Cyberdarks, in my opinion, is that when the equip spells are popped, they have an effect. Cyber Claw, when it's popped, you can just add it back to your hand, which means that you just get an additional search of a spell or trap. Insane stuff. We're gonna normal summon, we're gonna equip it, we're gonna use the field spell here, I think, and we're gonna target. Oh, we don't. I thought we did. Oh, we have no space in our spawn trap zone. Sorry. And we're just gonna go in for the pokes, big pokes. It's our opponent's turn. Ricardo, we have Cyberdark, so if they do anything we don't like, we just pop it. They're gonna try to use Mothman, which is when it's discarded, both players draw and discard. I drew a Herz, which is kind of lucky, because when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Cyberdragon. And we're just gonna activate the trap and pop his big foot or whatever. I'm not gonna lie, the deck does have some bricky hands, but it also has some decent hands. And I'm also not gonna say this deck is amazing, one of the best structured decks in all of Masterduel. It's okay. It's better with the release of Clockwork and Evolution End Burst Dragon, or excuse me, Evolution End Burst, the spell card. But it's not. It's just. What is it? I'd rate it like a C, not even a C plus or C minus. It's just like a C deck. It's not rogue, but it is a deck you could play maybe with friends or at a low rating. It does have power. Your big boss monster is tough, even for like competitive decks to deal with, as you saw in the Labyrinth replay. But the deck isn't going to be like going super crazy mode, winning every single game. You're going to lose some games, you're going to win some games. Our opponent beats over both our monsters. They're going to go into their Synchro Blue Eyes Spirit, which can negate a monster in the graveyard. And here I'm like, well, let's see what I draw. Clockwork? Oh man, the only card I want to see is Clockwork. That card's amazing. They're going to activate True Light, which allows them to special summon the Blue Eyes from their graveyard. And I'm just thinking like, damn, what do I do here? Well, how about we just special summon Blue Eyes, we'll activate Cyber Emergency. They're going to tribute their Synchro, special summon a Zero Eyes, which protects them from the dragons from card effects and destruction. And yeah, you're going to summon Core. Core's going to search out the field spell. We're going to use the Realm to normal summon again, equip it, and then we have Overlord Fusion. We're going to special summon Cyberdarkness Dragon. Main reason I did this is because this card has the effect where, quick effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can send one equipped spell you control to the graveyard to negate the activation. It's an Omni Negate. But it's only one Omni Negate. It's not, I mean, maybe it's more if you have more equipped spells, but it's not super crazy, but it is an Omni Negate, just in case things go really, really bad. Now, the reason that I'm doing plays in this way is because we have Cyberdark Invasion, and they have a card called True Light. When that card leaves the field, it says, destroy all monsters you control. So we're just going to destroy it whenever we can, and that's what we do, and all monsters they control die and they just surrender. This is going to be the second to last replay. I think the hand's pretty good. We're going to use Claw to grab our Realm. Realm's usually the first card I search because Realm is most useful at the beginning of the turn for the main fact that if you have a lot of Cyberdark names in your graveyard, you can't search those cards out. So I want to activate it as soon as possible when there's the least number of names in the graveyard in order to, like, you know, get the maximum number of available searches for any like opportunity or whatever. They're going to activate Reinforcement of the Army, and they're playing Photon. I think this was during the time when I was still running Monster Reborn, and I was contemplating taking out Monster Reborn for Nibiru, because Nibiru is part of a bundle. If I ran Nibiru here, I could have used it against his opponent, because I think they summon like 5 monsters. Let me speed it up. That's her 3rd summon. They're going to go into, oh no, that's her 5th summon right there, with Cyber Dragon Nova. So if I had a Nibiru, I could have Nibiru tributed, and they wouldn't have been able to go into Infinity, which is an Omni Negate. But I had Monster Reborn in hand. That's why I don't usually always run Monster Reborn in all my decks, because, you know, it's situational. So we'll resume. We're going to Cyberdragon Infinity. They can suck up our Edge, which really does suck, and also they can have an Omni Negate. I'm gonna activate Herz effect here. I'm thinking they're gonna negate this. They don't. I don't know why, because that just lost them the duel. I'm not even kidding, because on our turn, we are gonna go ham. You see what's on our field? Clockwork Night? Yeah, baby. We're gonna special summon the Cyberdragon, and we're gonna use Clockwork Night and use their monsters as fusion materials. And then this is when Monster Reborn comes in kind of clutch, because now that we've sent their Cyberdragon Infinity to the graveyard, we can just use Monster Reborn, take their Cyberdragon Infinity, and now it's on our side of the field. Yoink! We're going to attach the Chimeratech Fortress Dragon. Probably should have waited on that effect. I don't know why I activated it right away, but I was afraid they might have something else in their hand, like a negate or something. And we're just going to play the game. Use the additional norm summon from Realm, summon Edge, we're going to summon Core. Core gets us a search of the trap. Now we have a Omni Negate, so if they activate anything, negate. And if they have anything on the field that we really don't like, we can just pop it, we can destroy it. So we have a lot of interaction. They're going to activate Called by the Grave. I'm maybe trying to bait out our negate of Infinity. I'm like, I don't care, go ahead. And they scoop. Now, Clockwork Night is so good, it's actually useful in a lot of decks, especially Cyberdragon. I think Cyberdragon is the deck that's going to benefit the most off of this one card. Now, this is a Cyberdark deck. It's not necessarily Cyberdragon. Cyberdragon does work in it somehow. I guess it has Cyber in the name. But yeah, if I was running a more traditional and expensive Cyberdragon deck, I could be ending my board with an Infinity, which is an Omni Negate. I could have Clockwork Night. I could have another negate in the term of this like level 8 like Earth Machine. I forget his name, but he's new, like Reinhardt or something. But anyways, we're just gonna end our turn. We have a Infinite Imperm set in their column. So if they activate a monster effect, we don't like it, we can negate their spell potentially. And yeah, Cyberdark Invasion. They're not going to summon anything, they're not going to do anything. We draw off the top of our deck, Evolution and Burst. Doesn't really do anything, so we're going to have to pass our turn. Like I said, this deck does brick. So yeah, that kind of does suck. But look at that, Cyberdark Claw. Very good card. We're going to search out Realm. The only two names we have in our graveyard are Claw. So we can search out Cannon. Cannon searches out a monster, which is very good. And we're going to search out Edge. Edge is my favorite one. I love Edge. Just for the main fact that it can attack directly. And that really does matter when you're trying to trigger your equip spells effects. So we're going to attack for what, like 28, 29. We're going to use Invasion during the... And I think we're doing this during the battle phase, aren't we? We're going to pop their set spell or trap. And we're going to add back Claw to our hand. Now it's our opponent's turn. Maybe I didn't need to do Invasion there, but as you'll see, we'll just use Invasion in tandem with the Darkworld, which is just going to destroy all monsters. So I think what I was thinking is I thought it would protect our Cyberdark, but it only protects it from battle when it has an equipped spell. If this card would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster instead. It doesn't protect it from card effects, so that kind of does suck. They're playing like Kashtira or something. They're going to summon Kashtira monster. They're going to activate Birth. Birth is pretty strong. If we activate a spell, they can banish 3 cards from our graveyard. I didn't realize that at the time. I was like, oh, that sucks. Who cares about that? We got this game in the bag. Kappa, they're going to activate the Kashtira Unicorn, banish a card in our extra deck. If we look at our extra deck, this is before I was running the one link. It's just 3 copies of every single card. So when they saw this, they're probably like, what the heck? Why do you have every card in there? It's so weird. Anyways, we're going to activate a spell card. They're going to activate their Kashtira Birth. They're going to banish 3 cards from our graveyard. I'm like, thank God they didn't banish our fusions. If they banished the fusions, it would have been over. But they didn't. They're going to activate Max C. I'm like, oh, you want to take the Max C challenge, huh? Alright, game. We got Overload Fusion in our hand, and I search out Cybernetic Overflow. I was testing this card. This is one of the first replays that I played. I don't like Cybernetic Overflow, at least in this deck in particular. In Cyberdragon, it's probably better, but there's not enough Cyberdragon names in order for it to be actually like super good. Anyways, we're going to equip this guy with 2 materials. He can attack twice. Also, we get the effects of both of the equips. One sends from the extra deck, one sends from the deck. And I think that's game. One more attack, and it's over. My name's KushiKush. Hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to let me know what you think down below. And I hope you have a great day or night. And maybe I'll catch you next time. See ya.